These people are rude, and if they ask you to work together, you gotta say no, man. Welcome to Beyond the Screen. I'm Nate, and today we're breaking down the top 10 rudest celebrities that people refuse to work with. Number 10, Taylor Swift. Taylor's tyranny of torment must end now. Taylor Swift has made a name for herself as a person who thrives on the ending of a relationship. Since the late 2000s, Taylor has been making millions in the music industry. Her songs like Love Story and 22 are anthems to many. The catchy tunes tend to come from a place of so-called heartache. However, Taylor has thanked her exes on several occasions for inspiring the songs that made her who she is today. People like Tom Hiddleston, Harry Styles, Jake Gyllenhaal all have had a part to play in the inception of some bops. The argument can and should be made that Taylor just needs to chill already. She's made several songs that were good without the need to berate an ex, and some of those songs are pretty revealing. While she may have collaborated with some artists in the past, no one is now jumping at the chance to work with her and possibly have a song written about how bad of a job they did. Daddy didn't do dishes, he went against all my wishes. See what I mean? It's catchy. Number 9, Russell Crowe. The Gladiator star and newest addition to the world of mythology in the MCU, playing Zeus, Russell has had a steady career filled with blockbuster paychecks and fans galore. But according to several sources, the Pope's exorcist has quite the temper. In 2005, he made headlines for throwing a cell phone at a Mercer Hotel employee in New York City. Apparently, he found out that the phone was broken and he threw it without looking. It exploded on impact. That incident ended up being taken a bit too far, but that was not the only example of his escapades. In 2016, he returned to the media circuit, this time facing charges of alleged violence towards rapper Azalea Banks. That dissolved into a he said she said situation that was settled outside of court. Crowe has also made a mess on set in his early days, as a producer on the film Gladiator claims that Crowe became furious and violent when he discovered how much the producer's assistant was being paid. The situation forced the producer, Bronco Lustig, to quit the production. While many fans love Crowe in Gladiator, the people on set are probably a different story entirely. His career is slowly on the decline, as showcased by his recent passion project, The Pope's Exorcist, which was a low-budget, dreadful movie that almost everyone involved regrets ever participating in. Number 8, Tom Cruise. While Tom may be an action movie star and was once a young Hollywood heartthrob, he's had a massive temper since day one. According to both former assistants as well as several co-stars from his past, Cruise is a regular toddler on set and is known to throw tantrums, being set off by the smallest thing. His former manager, Eileen Berlin, presented Tom with a gift on his 19th birthday. She gave him an album of teen magazine articles written about him, and apparently that set him off. He told his manager that he considered himself an adult and not a teen idol, and just threw it right back in her face. Another example of Tom's aggression was on display during the filming on his recent Top Gun sequel, Maverick. During this time, Tom and the rest of the film crew were tasked to shoot on an actual aircraft carrier that was still in use by the US military. One of the crew posted on Twitter calling out the audacity of Tom's behavior, saying that Tom Cruise was really on their ship telling people not to talk or even look at them. After a few choice words from the crewmate online, it was made very clear that Tom was not welcome aboard their vessel. These are just a couple of examples though. Tom has blown up on film crews several times in the past, to the point where his Mission Impossible 2 co-star was constantly scared of Tom on set, and what he may freak out about next. Needless to say, nobody's lining up to hire Tom in their next pick other than whoever gets stuck making the next Mission Impossible movie. Number 7, Rihanna. Riri is a rude lady, according to some of her fans at least. A fan shared the story of a co-worker who experienced firsthand just how cold Rihanna can be. They told insiders that they had won free tickets and backstage passes from a radio concert, and when it came time for the co-worker and her kids to meet Rihanna, she was sitting at her makeup booth and refused to face them. When the young fans asked if they could get her autograph, she instructed a nearby backup dancer to forge the signature before shooing them away like a movie villain. Oh, you want my love? Shoo shoo. In 2016, she further added fuel to the fire when she shared a photo of a young fan wearing a dress inspired by Rihanna's Wile E. Coyote themed costume that she had worn at an awards show a few years prior. She wrote "Dark Thought Rises" with the hashtag PromBat. She shared the post with millions of people, alienating countless fans and ruining one fan's prom memories for the rest of their lives. Rihanna could have been the next big pop/TV star, but her attitude just makes people look at her and go, shoot. Number 6, Morgan Freeman. The voice of God himself, Morgan Freeman has been a soothing soul for many, many years. To this day, families can still hear hear Morgan narrate the world around them in an immersive 360 IMAX screen experience at the Science Center in Toronto. He may be a comfort to some, but according to a few women, Morgan is their nightmare. Morgan has been accused of inappropriate behavior on multiple occasions between 1991 and 2015. According to one production assistant from the film Going in Style, which is a bank heist movie starring Morgan, Michael Caine, and Alan Arkin, Freeman subjected her to unwanted touching and comments about her figure and clothing on a near daily basis. Hey guys, that's a creepy move, don't do that, and no one likes it. According to her, in one instance, Freeman attempted to lift her skirt and asked to see her underclothes. She was not the only one to speak out about this man though. A senior member of the production staff on the movie Now You See Me Too told CNN that Freeman harassed her and another female assistant on numerous occasions, making similar comments on both figure and clothes. I could go on with more and more examples, but just to save you some time and to boil it down, Morgan is creepy. In case you haven't noticed, he doesn't really act much anymore and is regularly refused work by any and all he asks. Gee, I wonder why. Number 5. J.K. Rowling. As a Harry Potter geek, this one always stings. J.K. Rowling is known for being the author of the much-loved Harry Potter series that was eventually adapted into 7 glorious magical movies and Order of the Phoenix. In June 2020, Rowling retweeted an op-ed piece that discussed people who menstruate, apparently taking issue with the fact that the article didn't use the word woman. She tweeted, "People who menstruate. I'm sure there used to be a word for those people. Someone help me out. Woben, wimpund, womud." While these tweets garnered massive amounts of backlash from fans, Rowling doubled down on her views in more detail. She tweeted, "If gender isn't real, then there's no same gender attraction. I know and love trans people, but erasing the concept of gender removes the ability of many to meaningfully discuss their lives." She went on to say that she respected trans people's right to live any way that feels authentic to them. At the same time, her life has been shaped by being a female. Okay, she claimed it wasn't wrong to speak the truth and be proud, but like, it is sometimes though. Everyone in the world called JK out for her comments and views, with the live-action Harry Potter stars even taking to Twitter to call out her behavior and stand with the trans community. She's unfortunately still making money off the Fantastic Beasts movies, but she's been refused to work on set for the rest of her days, having to watch her property prosper without her. Number 4. Roseanne Barr. In the late 80s, Roseanne starred in a sitcom titled after herself. She starred alongside Hollywood heavyweight John Goodman in a series that followed the couple's everyday lives as a working-class family. The show aired for 230 episodes, eventually being cancelled in the mid-90s. It was eventually revived in 2018 as the same wholesome content just for a new generation. Unfortunately for Roseanne, sitcom producers have Twitter. Her show was quickly re-cancelled only a few hours following Barr posting a tweet about Valerie Jarrett, telling the world that she was the product of Planet of the Apes and a certain brotherhood had a baby. She later apologized for the tweets, but the damage had been done. ABC Entertainment President Channing Dungey said in a statement that Roseanne's Twitter statement is abhorrent, repugnant, and inconsistent with their values. Barr actually defended her tweets, saying that they weren't racist but in fact a joke. Oh yeah, those can be the same thing. She's yet to be hired by any studio and has stayed silent ever since. Number 3. Dave Chappelle. Dave Chappelle dominated the comedy scene in the 90s and early 2000s. His stand-up was considered to be the most gut-busting and entertaining around, and his role in films like The Nutty Professor, Robin Hood Men in Tights, and the cult classic Half-Baked garnered him a massive success. He took a bit of a break from starring in films to focus on his family and his true passion, stand-up comedy. Despite being on stage for over 12 years though, Dave never really learned how to follow suit with the times. In case you don't know, there's a lot of stuff that there are certain topics that became kind of rude to joke about, you know? Many jokes considered funny in the 80s and 90s just haven't aged well, and unfortunately it seems like that's all the material Dave has. In one of his most recent Netflix specials, he made jokes aimed at the LGBTQ+ community, jokes that are not worth quoting or repeating or watching, just leave it at that. They were rough enough to have Dave's fans turn on him immediately. While he was cancelled by his fans, Netflix actually defended the comedian, claiming he had artistic freedom even after a group of Netflix employees and transgender advocates staged a virtual walkout. The co-CEO, Ted Sarandos, who released that statement, later admitted that he handled the situation poorly. Oh, did you, Ted? Dave hasn't been cast in anything anytime in recent history, as any and all who've collaborated with him in the past have decided to distance themselves from him just as much as possible. Number 2. Mike Myers. He's Canadian. He's a comedian. How could this guy be a meanie beanie? Well, it turns out that's his default setting. Mike may be well known in the world of Hollywood as a funny man, but to his fans, he's known as a short-tempered madman. One experience was shared with the media outlet Mean Stars, in which a fan told a story of running into Mike at a bar, with the experience being as disastrous as the Love Guru, like Like anything could be that bad. The fan walked up and told Mike that he was a big fan and he offered to buy him a drink, to which Mike replied, "Well, I can afford my own drinks, you a-hole. Save the cash for my next movie." There are several instances, both on and off set, showcasing his difficulty working with people. His Cat in the Hat co-stars, sorry, I get a weird flashback whenever I talk about that movie. His co-star Amy Hill claimed that he had handlers dress his entire trailer and work area so that he wouldn't be able to be seen by anybody else on set. Maybe his reputation as a difficult Donnie has something to do with Hollywood seemingly blacklisting him from appearing as a lead in anything until his recent show The Pentaverate aired on Netflix. A show where he's forced to play half of the cast because, hey, he couldn't get anyone else to come do it with him. Maybe it has something to do with the love guru. I don't know, just maybe. It was a little racist. Number 1, James Franco. James has placed himself in a little bubble of public exile for using his powers for evil. The man behind some iconic characters like his portrayal as real-life filmmaker Tommy Wiseau, his role as Harry Osborn in the original Spider-Man trilogy, and so many more seem to be on the way to a long successful career, following multiple collaborations with his longtime friend Seth Rogen, as well as his turn in more serious roles like True Story as a man on death row telling his tale of woe to a writer played by Jonah Hill. Apparently though, James has a problem keeping his hands to himself, especially when it comes to his acting students. In 2018, 5 female students at his Studio 4 acting school in North Hollywood told the Los Angeles Times that Franco had parlayed his position to exploit them physically. 2 of those women sued and Franco was forced to settle outside of court and fork over $2.23 million. At the time, he was writing, acting, and directing a show for HBO called The Deuce, which he was allowed to stay on and finish because hey, it was being cancelled anyway. Not only did fans call for the cancellation of that series, but the public outcry forced Seth Rogen to drop his longtime pal, telling the Times of London that his scandal had changed their relationship and he refused to collaborate with James anytime in the near future. And those are the celebrities who people refuse to work with. Let us know in the comments below. We missed anybody that you despise. Thanks for stopping beyond the screen today, and we'll see you next time.